Hello students, welcome to Veda Gate Academy. In the previous session, we have started with a concept called voltage regulation, and we have seen what is the necessity of studying voltage regulation with the help of a distribution transformer, power transformer as well as alternator. And we have seen the necessity of studying voltage regulation for a given distribution transformer as well as power transformer and alternator. So in this session, we will try to understand about the expression for voltage regulation as well as condition for maximum voltage regulation as well as zero voltage regulation. So let us start with understanding of expression for voltage regulation. Expression for voltage regulation. Right. So what is the basic definition of voltage regulation? So here I am giving a generalized definition for voltage regulation. Okay. So which you can consider as the same definition for both distribution as well as power transformer. So if you see the definition of voltage regulation, okay, in short notation from now onwards I will use the representation of voltage regulation as V dot R. Okay, this I can use the notation for representing voltage regulation. So the definition of voltage regulation is nothing but it is a change in terminal voltage from no load to full load is called as voltage regulation. So what is the definition? Again, if I am repeating the definition of voltage regulation, it is a change in terminal voltage, or to be precisely speaking, it is a change in magnitude of terminal voltage. Change in magnitude of terminal voltage from no load to full load is considered as voltage regulation. Okay, so change in the magnitude of terminal voltage from no load condition to full load condition is considered as voltage regulation. Okay, and since this is what is the units for no load voltage or full load voltage, difference is nothing but the unit becomes volts. So the voltage regulation is nothing but change in magnitude of terminal voltage from no load condition to full load condition is called as voltage regulation. Now in order to get the expression for voltage regulation, let us consider the equivalent circuit diagram referred to secondary side. So while deriving the expression for voltage regulation, okay, so to make the mathematical analysis simple, I am going to assume that the no load current is neglected. Okay, so neglect no load current I naught. So that means indirectly what kind of approximate equivalent circuit diagram we are using while determining the expression for voltage regulation, we are using second approximate equivalent circuit. So in second approximate equivalent circuit also what we have done is we have neglected the no load current, as no load current is very small in a practical transformer, which is around 5% to 8% of full load current. Even if you neglect that no load current, the deviations are going to be very small and we can able to accept those deviations. Okay, so that is the reason while determining the voltage regulation, to make the analysis very simple or to get the expressions for voltage regulation, we are going to neglect no load current. So if I neglect no load current, let me try to draw the equivalent circuit diagram. If you try to draw the second approximate equivalent circuit diagram, second approximate equivalent circuit. So here you will have, this is my source voltage V1. Okay, and now what I will do is here to make further the expressions very simple, I am trying to draw the second approximate equivalent circuit diagram refer to secondary side. Okay, so refer to secondary side. So that means the resistance of the primary winding as well as the leakage reactance of the primary winding I am shifting to which side? Secondary side. Okay, so the moment if there is no resistance or leakage reactance, so if I am applying 100 volts, the same 100 volts will be induced across the primary winding of the transformer. So I can say that the induced EMF in the primary winding E1 will be same as V1. So let us assume that this is my transformer core, and on the secondary side let us assume this is my secondary side winding, and assume that the EMF induced across the secondary winding is E2, and assume the turns ratio of this particular transformer is N1 is to N2. Now Already this secondary winding consists of some resistance, right? So the secondary winding resistance we can represent it with R2, and we have shifted this primary winding resistance referred to secondary side. So you will have R1 dash, and this resistance R2 and R1 dash both are connected in series. So we can able to replace with a single resistance, and that resistance value I can represent with R02. Okay, and similarly the primary winding leakage reactance now I shifted to secondary side, and already the secondary winding will have some leakage reactance. So the two reactances are connected in series, and if you replace with a single reactance, that I can able to represent with JX02. Okay, and here across these terminals of the secondary winding we are going to connect a load. Okay, so we are going to connect a load. So this is the basic second approximate equivalent circuit diagram referred to secondary side, and the assumption what we have made is we have neglected this no load current. Okay, and obviously the current flowing through the secondary winding I can represent with I2, and because of this current I2 which is flowing through a load having some impedance ZL, you will have some terminal voltage or load voltage across these load terminals that we are indicating with V2. Here what is the value of R02? R02 value will be equal to R2 plus R1 dash. Similarly, what is the value of X02? X02 is equal to X2 plus X1 dash. So these are the equivalent, total equivalent resistance referred to secondary side, and this is total equivalent leakage reactance referred to secondary side. So this is the basic expression for basic equivalent circuit diagram referred to secondary side. Now using this secondary side equivalent circuit diagram, now we will try to derive the expression for voltage regulation. So what is the definition of voltage regulation? I have mentioned change in terminal voltage from no load to full load. Okay, change in terminal voltage from no load to full load. Now imagine under no load condition. What is the meaning of no load? That means I am not going to connect any load across these terminals. So that means assume that these terminals are open circuit. The moment if these terminals are open circuit, okay, so what will happen? Under no load condition, I can say that the current flowing through the secondary winding becomes how much? The current flowing through the secondary winding is equal to 0. Okay, so the value of I2 is equal to 0. The moment if I2 equal to 0, will I get any impedance drop across this secondary leakage impedance? No, right? So this is, I can represent R02 plus JX02 with Z02. What is Z02? The total equivalent leakage impedance referred to secondary side. And at the moment under no load condition, as this current I2 is 0, you won't have any leakage impedance drop. If you don't have any leakage impedance drop, in that case, I can say the voltage across the load terminals under no load condition is same as induced EMF. So I can say that from here, I2 into Z02 value is equal to 0. As I2 into Z02 is equal to 0, the voltage under no load condition, the voltage across the load or load terminals under no load condition will be same as the induced EMF in the secondary winding. Okay. Now under full load condition, under loaded or full load condition, I can say that the current flowing through the load is not equal to 0. In fact, it is full load current, and because of this full load current, you will have a full load impedance drop across the leakage secondary leakage impedance, and because of this one, whatever the voltage that is appeared across these load terminals, full load terminals, let indicate that V full load with a notation V2. So from now onwards till the completion of this derivation or expression for voltage regulation, the no load voltage is anyway E2, full load voltage I am mentioning as V2, where V2 is the full load voltage across the load terminals. Now if I substitute this no load and full load voltage in this one, then you are going to get the expression for voltage regulation as the voltage regulation will be equal to what we are going to get, no load voltage is E2 minus full load voltage is V2 is the volts. This is the basic definition of voltage regulation. Okay, generally the voltage regulation will be expressed in per unit quantities. Okay, so per unit quantities. Now before going to see here what is the meaning of E2 minus V2? That means it is the difference between induced EMF minus the full load voltage or no load voltage minus full load voltage. While calculating voltage regulation, one important point is we are not going to subtract the phase angles between this E2 and V2. Okay, our major focus should be only with respect to the magnitude of induced EMF E2 minus magnitude of full load terminal voltage across the load, or I can say magnitude of no load voltage minus magnitude of full load voltage. We are not at all going to play with the phase angle differences between no load voltage and full load voltage. What is the meaning of that? For suppose if I am saying that for a particular transformer the no load voltage is equal to 100 at an angle 0 degrees and full load voltage is equal to some 90 at an angle some 30 degrees, then the magnitude of voltage regulation in this case becomes equal to, you have to consider only the magnitude of no load voltage and magnitude of full load voltage. Magnitude of no load voltage is 100 minus magnitude of full load voltage is 90. So this is my voltage regulation magnitude. So never play with the phase angles while determining the voltage regulation. That means I can say don't write this one as 100 at an angle 0 degrees minus 90 at an angle 30 degrees. This is not at all correct. Okay. So while determining voltage regulation, that is the reason I even in the definition also we have mentioned that it is a change in terminal voltage, change in magnitude of terminal voltage from no load to full load. Okay. I hope you understand the meaning of this. Now again come back to this thing. So as I said, the voltage regulation is always expressed in per unit quantities. What is the meaning of per unit quantities? Actual quantity divided by base quantity. Here if you observe here, E2 minus V2 is nothing but the difference between the no load voltage minus full load voltage, which is actual voltage. So the units are volts. So even the base value should be also a voltage parameter. Then only you will get a per unit quantity, right? So that is the reason if you want to express the voltage regulation in per unit system, the no load voltage minus full load voltage divided by the rated voltage will give you the per unit voltage regulation. Okay, so no load voltage minus full load voltage divided by rated voltage. This rated voltage will be obtained from whom? This rated voltage will be obtained from nameplate details of the transformer. Okay, it will be obtained from whom? Nameplate details of transformer. And as we know, in the nameplate details of the transformer, whatever the EMFs which are indicated will represent induced EMFs in the primary and secondary windings respectively. Since we are doing the entire analysis on the secondary side, now what is the base or rated voltage we have to select to convert this expression into per unit quantity. In order to convert this voltage regulation into per unit, we have to divide this expression with the rated voltage which is mentioned on the nameplate details. That means do I need to divide with E2 or V2? Obviously we need to divide with E2 because on the nameplate details of a transformer, whatever the voltage ratings they are mentioning is induced voltages in the primary and secondary winding. So if I want to get now the voltage regulation per unit, no load voltage as we know E2 minus full load voltage is V2 divided by rated voltage is E2. So this is unitless. Okay, so because actual voltage by base voltage, that will give you the per unit voltage regulation of the transformer. So I hope you understand. So the voltage regulation, basic voltage regulation is volts, and per unit voltage regulation is E2 minus V2 divided by E2. In default, generally we are going to represent the voltage regulation in per unit quantities. Now once if you understand this point, now if you want to convert this voltage regulation per unit quantity into percentage values, what I have to do? If I want to get percentage voltage regulation, you need to multiply the per unit voltage regulation with 100. So if I multiply the above expression, you are going to get percentage voltage regulation as E2 minus V2 divided by E2 into 100. This is my percentage voltage regulation. Okay, so this is the basic expression for voltage regulation. Now we need to write the detailed expression for voltage regulation to solve the questions. Okay, in order to get the detailed expression for voltage regulation, what we will do is, let us try to understand. Okay, how to get the difference between E2 and V2, because anyway this E2 or rated voltage will be obtained from nameplate details. So our major focus should be how to get the expression for E2 minus V2. In order to get that expression, if you observe here, if you see this circuit, okay, so if you apply KVL around this particular secondary side's equivalent circuit diagram, what you are going to get from here, the KVL around this one, what you are going to get, E2 equal to V2 plus I2 into R02 plus J I2 into X02, because KVL is nothing but algebraic sum of voltages around a closed loop. It should be equal to 0, right? So that means we are going to get E2 equal to V2 plus I2 into R02 plus J I2 into X02. So now I will write that expression from equivalent circuit diagram. If you apply KVL on the secondary side, we are going to get E2 bar, it is a vector addition, not arithmetic addition, V2 bar plus I2 bar into R02 plus J I2 bar into X02. J I2 bar into X02. Okay. Now this is my expression what you are going to have. Now our interest is to determine the difference between E2 and V2. Okay. So since it is a vector addition rather than a arithmetic addition, now it purely depends upon, okay, so in this expression, the magnitude of E2 minus V2 or voltage regulation magnitude is purely depends upon the type of the load what we are using, because the moment if I am using a vector addition, that vector addition depends upon the phase angles. Okay, so that means we need to understand whether the transformer is operating at lagging power factor loads or leading power factor loads or zero power factor loads. Okay, so based on the kind of load, we have to derive the corresponding expression for voltage regulation. Okay, right, let us try to see here now how to get the expression. So in order to get the expression for voltage regulation, that means the magnitude of E2 minus magnitude of V2. Here if I am simply writing this indirectly, if there is no bars, you have to assume that this is magnitude of E2 minus magnitude of V2. In order to get the expression for voltage regulation E2 minus V2, what I will do is I will try to develop the phasor diagram for this particular equation. And in order to develop the phasor diagram for this equation, you may assume the load as a lagging load or you may assume the load as a leading load. Okay, so let us try to assume the load as a lagging load, and I will try to develop the phasor diagram. Okay, I am going to develop the phasor diagram by assuming the load as lagging load. So what is the meaning of the term lagging load? The meaning of the term lagging load is nothing but the current flowing through the load. Okay, that current flowing through the load is nothing but I2. The current flowing through the load will be lagging this voltage V2 by some phase angle, and that load phase angle we are going to represent with notation phi2. Okay, in the equivalent circuit diagrams we have discussed those points. So what is the meaning of lagging load? The meaning of lagging load is nothing but current flowing through the load will be lagging the voltage by some phase angle. Lagging load means it is a combination of RL load that we can consider as a simple RL load. So now if I am assuming, now what I will do is I will take V2 as reference phasor, and from this V2 I will develop the equation E2. Okay, so that means I am going to develop the phasor diagram. Let me move, to this side. Yes, so and I will try to develop the phasor diagram for that. Yes, so I am going to consider V2 as reference phasor. So consider, let me reduce the thickness. Yes. Yes, so this is I can consider as a V2 phasor. Assume this is V2 phasor, and if I am assuming the load is a lagging load, the current flowing through the load will lag this voltage V2 by some phase angle. So lagging means I am going to get in this fashion. So let me try to draw in this fashion. So this is what my current I2. So the angle between this V2 and I2 we are going to indicate with the load phase angle or load power factor angle, and that power factor angle of load we are going to represent with a notation phi2. So by seeing this one I can say I2 is lagging V2 by a phase angle phi2. Now in order to get the magnitude of E2, here I am talking about the magnitude. Our major focus is, you may have a assumption that E2 minus V2 is nothing but I2 R02 plus JI2 X02. It's not correct, okay? Here this is a vector addition, but we require a magnitude expression for E2 minus V2. For that we are building the phasor diagram, and from that we will try to get the expression for magnitude of difference between V2, E2 minus V2. Relax. All of you try to focus on this diagram. So in order to get E2 magnitude, I need to add 3 phasors. What are those 3 phasors? From the tip of first phasor is V2, and from the tip of this V2 I need to add one more phasor of magnitude I2 R02, and from the tip of I2 R02 I need to add one more phasor of magnitude I2 X02. Then the resultant of these 3 phasors will give you the final magnitude of E2. Right. Now my question is, if I know this is I2, what is I2 R02? Can I say what is I2 R02? I2 R02 is nothing but the drop across this resistance R02. I can simply call it as a resistance drop. Okay, I2 R02 is nothing but a resistance drop. The moment if I am using the term drop, is it a voltage or a current? Obviously it is a voltage, because if you see I2 into resistance, current into resistance is nothing but voltage, right? And what kind of element is this? It is a resistor. And we are very well aware that for a resistor, voltage and current both are in phase with each other. Yes or no? Right. So that means if I know the current phasor, I can easily know the voltage phasor. So obviously if I try to draw I2 R02 from this reference point, okay, from this reference point, it will be in phase with whom? It will be in phase with I2, okay. But this phasor I2 R02, I need to add from tip of whom? From tip of V2. So that means I am going to project this here, okay. I am going to project this I2 R02 here. So if I try to do that, so what you are going to get? You will get I2 R02. Let us assume this is my I2 R02, and it should be in parallel to this one. Even if I am not trying to draw the parallel to this I2, you need to assume it should be parallel to this. So let us assume this is what, guys? I2 into R02. I hope it is visible and it is clear to you. So far the discussion. Now from the tip of I2 R02, that means from here I need to add one more phasor which should be equal to I2 into X02. Now if you take I2 into X02, what is the meaning of I2 into X02? It is the drop across leakage reactance refer to secondary side. Okay, that means it is a leakage reactive drop. Am I correct or not? Leakage reactive drop. Again, the drop means it is again a voltage, but it is a inductor, right? So the leakage impedance or leakage reactance will be represented with the inductance. So in an inductor, what is the relation between current and voltage? Since it is a pure inductor, the relation between current and voltage is, for an inductor, current will be lagging the voltage exactly by 90 degrees. What? In an inductor, current will be lagging voltage by 90 degrees. I can equivalently remodify that statement as current lagging voltage by 90 degrees is equivalent to voltage leads current by 90 degrees. Both are same, right? Either I can use current lagging voltage by 90, which is equivalent to voltage leading current by 90 degrees. Now, generally, if you are taking, this is my current. For suppose if I want to write this I2 X02, that means voltage across this particular reactance, it should be leading current by exactly 90 degrees. That means if I draw from here, the I2 X02 will be exactly leading. So leading means anti-clockwise, lagging means clockwise, okay. So it will be leading I2 by exactly 90. Now this particular phasor you have to add from the tip of I2 R02. So now what I will do, I am going to add, okay, from here, and this you have to maintain the angle between this one and this phasor 90, or else angle between I2 R02 and this phasor also should be 90. So this is my whom? I2 X02. And what is this angle, guys? Exactly this angle is equal to how much? 90 degrees. Now the resultant of V2, I2 R02, I2 X02 will give you the final expression or magnitude of E2. So if I am adding, I am going to get this. I am going to get this particular phasor. So what is this? This is nothing but my E2. This is nothing but my E2. So this is my phasor diagram for which load? Lagging load, right? Now my question is, I need to get the expression for whom? The magnitude of E2. That means this length. if I want to calculate this length, what I will do is I will form a right angle triangle. All of you please focus, okay? So what I am doing is I am trying to form a right angle triangle by extending this particular line, okay? So let me yeah. So what I am doing is I am extending this line to here, okay? So please bear with me if I am not properly drawing the diagram, you have to accept, right? So is it a right angle triangle now? Yes, of course it is a right angle triangle, okay? Now what I am doing is assume this is O, this is A, this is B, or else this is B, and this I can consider as C. This I can consider as C. Now can I say from this right angle triangle, I can say that the OA length, I hope it is visible here. So the OA length is equal to, okay, OA length is equal to, so I can say this is, in this right angle triangle, I can say this is hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is equal to square root of adjacent length square plus opposite length square. So you are going to get square root of adjacent length. What is adjacent length? OC square plus opposite length is what? AC square. Opposite length is AC square. Okay. Now to make further analysis or expression of voltage regulation very simple, what we are doing is we are trying to assume that AC magnitude or length of AC is very small compared to OC, okay, and we are trying to neglect this AC value. We are trying to neglect this AC. So that means, are we neglecting the vertical projection of OA or horizontal projection of OA? If you observe here, what is the horizontal projection of OA phasor? The horizontal projection of OA phasor is nothing but OC. Okay, the horizontal projection of OA is whom? Okay, if I project this horizontally, the horizontal projection of this OA phasor is OC. What about the vertical projection of OA phasor? The vertical projection of OA phasor, that means, for suppose if I am assuming in this fashion, if I project this is vertically, this length, okay, this length is same as AC length. So while doing deriving the expression for voltage regulation, the other approximation what we are doing, first approximation is no load current we are assuming to be neglected. The other expression what we are doing is we are trying to neglect the vertical projection of OA phasor. We are neglecting vertical projection, okay, of OA phasor. So here horizontal projection of OA phasor is nothing but OC. We need to consider this, whereas the vertical projection of OA phasor is nothing but whom? The vertical projection of OA phasor is AC, which we are going to neglect during the simplification of voltage regulation. That is the reason you won't get exact expression for voltage regulation, and whatever the formula which we are going to arrive is approximate voltage regulation formula. Okay, so you have to mind it. So the approximate voltage regulation formula we are deriving. For that, what we are doing, we have neglected AC. So even if you are neglecting AC, it won't affect on the overall deviation, or you won't find much deviation in the calculations of voltage regulation, because this AC length, if you try, this is not to the scale, okay, because it is not to the scale. So here I have randomly chosen the phasor lengths of V2, E2 and all those stuff, okay, because X/R ratio of a practical transformer is 2 to 6. As we know, previously we have discussed one point that the X/R ratio of transformer is 2 to 6, and in fact the leakage impedance of the transformer is very small compared to the remaining machines, because you don't have any air gap. As there is no air gap, so we can say that the amount of leakage flux in a transformer is very small, and leakage reactance is also very small. And while designing resistance of the winding, we are designing as minimum as possible, so the overall leakage impedance drop is also very small. As leakage impedance drop is very small, I can say that this AC length will be also very small. So even if you are neglecting AC length, it won't have much deviation in the calculation of voltage regulation. So that is the reason I am trying to neglect this AC. Now if you neglect this AC, the moment if I am neglecting this AC, can you tell me in that case what is the value of OA? OA is approximately equal to, if I neglect AC, which is equal to OC. So the value of OA is equal to OC. That means the length of E2 or magnitude of E2 will be equal to length of OC. Yes or no? So nothing but E2 magnitude. I am indirectly trying to determine E2 magnitude, which is equal to OA, which is approximately equal to OC. Now by seeing this particular phasor, can I say OC is equal to whom? OC is equal to length OB plus BC. OB plus BC. Are you following what I am conveying, guys? So the total length OC from here to here, okay, this length is nothing but this length OB plus this length BC. Right. Now what I will do is, I will do the horizontal projection of this I to R02 horizontally. So if I project this horizontal projection, let us assume that this is point D. Okay, let us assume that this is point D, and this DC, what I will do is, I will try to draw one horizontal line here. So I am trying to project in this fashion. So here can I say this length DC, right? So assume this is X and this is Y. Now my question is, can I say the length DC is same as the length XY? Right. Now by seeing this particular expression, guys, can I say BC is equal to what? Can I write BC length is equal to BD length plus DC length? And we know that from the diagram, DC length is same as XY length. DC length is same as XY length. Right? So that means what I want to say here is OC is equal to, that means this length will be equal to this length OB plus BD plus DC, where DC is equal to XY. Right. Now first what I will do is, I know the value of OB. What is the value of OB from the diagram? The value of OB is equal to V2, magnitude of V2. The value of OB is what? Length of V2. That means magnitude of V2. I know V2. Now if I can able to calculate BD length plus DC length, we are done with the question. In order to get BD length, what I will do is, all of you please focus, guys, here. So if I know this is my horizontal line and this is I2, the angle between this horizontal line and I2 is phi 2. Can I say this I2 R02 is also in parallel with I2? And if you try to identify this angle, can you tell me what is this angle? As this is the angle between the horizontal line and I2 R02, which is parallel to I2, the same phase angle you are going to get over here. This is phi 2. Yes or no? Right. Now my question is, can you tell me what is the horizontal projection of I2 R02? What is the horizontal projection of I2 R02? Obviously, if you apply cos phi 2, you will get this one. So if at all, if you are getting confused, this is B point, this is D point, and this is I2 R02, and this is phi 2. Now what I am asking is, tell me what is cos phi 2. That's sufficient. If you try to write the expression for cos phi 2 from this, okay, if I try to write cos phi 2, so I will write over here. So can you tell me what is cos phi 2, guys, from this particular diagram? Cos phi 2. Cos phi 2, what is the formula for cos? Adjacent length by hypotenuse. Adjacent length is whom? BD. Divided by what is hypotenuse? I2 R02. From here, can you tell me what is the value of BD, guys? The value of BD is I2 R02 cos phi 2. That means the horizontal projection of I2 R02 is nothing but BD length, and that BD length will be equal to what? I2 R02 cos phi 2. Okay, if you are perfect with right angle triangles, then it is very easy to understand this. Right? So the value of BD will be equal to I2 R02 cos phi 2. So we have done with this length also. So I got this length. I know this length. The only length which I need to calculate now is DC length. And as we know, DC length is same as XY length. Right? So DC length is exactly equal to XY length. Now, if we can able to calculate XY length, we are done with this question. Right? So how to calculate this DC length or XY length? XY length. Now, in order to calculate XY length, let me try to see here. All of you please focus, guys. Okay? Sorry. This is I2 X02. Right. All of you please focus. So this is, if you observe here, this is a triangle, right? If you observe this point, this point, this point. This is a triangle. In a triangle, total angle is how much? 180 degrees. Out of 180 degrees, this angle is phi 2, this angle is 90. Then what will happen to this angle? Obviously 90 minus phi 2. Yes or no? So if you see, the total angle in this triangle is phi 2 plus 90 minus phi 2 plus 90. This phi 2 will get cancelled. 90 plus 90 is 180. And we know in mathematics we have seen that if I am taking a particular line and if I draw the lines in this fashion, horizontal lines, and if I am saying this angle is x, obviously this angle is also x. If this angle is x, obviously this angle is also x. The same thing I am doing here. So if this is 90 minus phi 2, I can say this angle is how much? 90 minus phi 2. From horizontal line, this angle is making, this line is making an angle of 90 minus phi 2. So if I know this angle is 90 minus phi 2, can you tell me what is this angle? This angle is also 90 minus phi 2. That's it. Okay, this angle is how much? 90 minus phi 2. Now once if I know this, then how to calculate the length xy? Very simple. Very simple. Okay, if you clearly observe here, this is point A, this is point X, this is point Y. And this angle is how much they have mentioned? 90 minus phi 2. This angle they have mentioned as 90 minus phi 2. And this length, XA length, how much? What is XA length? XA length is nothing but I2 X02. I2 X02. From here, I am asking about XY. In order to get XY, do I need to apply sine or cos? Sine. What is sine of this angle? Sine is nothing but adjacent length divided by hypotenuse. Cos is nothing but opposite length. But I require xy length, not ay length. In order to get xy length, what I will do? I will apply sine of this value. So if you apply sine 90 minus phi 2, can you tell me what you are going to get, guys? Sine 90 minus phi 2 from this right angle triangle. If I try to calculate, let me slightly move to this side. Yes. Yeah. So sine 90 minus phi 2. Sine is adjacent length xy divided by hypotenuse I2 X02. Now from here I will get the value of xy. Can you tell me now what is the value of xy? I2 X02 sine 90 minus phi 2. Is it sine or cos, guys? Sine or cos? Huh? What is this? Sine or cos? This is cos, because cos is nothing but adjacent length divided by hypotenuse. Okay. So this is, sorry for that. Yeah. So this is cos 90 minus phi 2. Cos is nothing but adjacent length by hypotenuse. So from here, what is the value of DC you are going to get finally? DC is equal to I2 X02 cos of 90 minus phi 2. What is cos of 90 minus phi 2? You are going to get sin phi 2. So we are done with the diagram. So here the important final things what we are getting is, I know the value of OB length, which is equal to V2. I know the value of length BD, which is equal to I2 R0 to cos phi 2. And I know the value of length DC, which is equal to I2 X0 to sin phi 2. Now the sum of OB plus BD plus DC, sum of OB plus BD plus DC will give you which length? OC length. OC length is nothing but E2. Yes or no? OC length is nothing but E2. Are you following what I am saying? Now, if you try to get the expression for E2, if I write the magnitude, here whatever the expression now I am writing is magnitude expression. Magnitude of E2 is OA length V2 plus BD length I2 R0 to cos phi 2, and the last one what we got is plus I2 X0 to sin phi 2. I2 X0 to sin phi 2. So this is the expression for E2 what we are getting. Now once if I know the magnitude expressions, I can easily calculate the voltage regulation. So what is the voltage regulation basic formula? The change in terminal voltage, magnitude of terminal voltage from no load E2 minus full load V2, E2 minus V2. So if you try to write this expression, what you are going to get? I2 R0 to cos phi 2 plus I2 X0 to sin phi 2. I2 X0 to sin phi 2. So this is my voltage regulation. Are you following what I am saying? So V2 minus V2 is nothing but I2 R0 to cos phi 2 plus I2 X0 to sin phi 2. And this particular formula is valid for a leading power factor load or lagging power factor load. So we have derived this entire formula by assuming the load is lagging. So it is valid for lagging power factor loads. That means I can say simply a RL load. So it is valid for lagging power factor loads. Okay, right? So here this E2 minus V2 from the equivalent circuit diagram, I can say, if you see, okay, in this equivalent circuit diagram, magnitude of E2 minus magnitude of V2 is nothing but the voltage drop across the leakage impedance, or we can even call it as leakage impedance drop also. Okay, so this I can even make as this difference of E2 minus V2, even we can call it as the leakage impedance drop or voltage impedance drop, or we can write as voltage drop across leakage impedance. Voltage drop across leakage impedance. Voltage drop across leakage impedance. So this is the basic formula you must have to remember. Okay, so you have to remember this formula at any cost, because we are trying to solve so many problems related to this formula. Okay, so what is the voltage regulation for a lagging power factor load? So I2 R02 cos phi 2 plus I2 X02 sin phi 2. So this is about the brief idea for lagging power factor load. Now we will try to even derive the expression for voltage regulation for a leading power factor loads. Okay, we are trying to derive for leading power factor load. So the moment if I am using the term leading power factor loads, what is the meaning? The current flowing through the load, that means I2, okay, will lead the voltage across the load. What is the voltage across the load? V2 by a phase angle. Let us assume the load phase angle or load power factor angle is phi 2. So this is the meaning of leading power factor load. Now we will try to derive or draw the phasor diagram by using this phasor equation. What is phasor equation? E2 bar will be equal to V2 bar plus I2 bar into R02 plus J I2 bar into X02. Now I will try to draw the phasor diagram. I will try to draw the phasor diagram by assuming the load as leading load. By assuming the load as leading load, so that we can able to get the final conclusions for the formulas of voltage regulation corresponding to lagging as well as leading power factor loads. So again, do the similar analysis. Yes. So if I am taking, again, I am going to consider this as my reference phasor. Okay, so this I am going to consider as a reference phasor V2, and from okay, so as we know, it is a leading, means the current will be leading this voltage. Okay, let us assume this, the current will be leading this voltage by some phase angle phi 2. This we can call it as load phase angle. And from the tip of V2, I need to add one phasor which is in phase with I2, that is nothing but I2 R02, because for a resistor, voltage and current will be in phase with each other. So from the tip of this, I am going to add I2 R02, which should be in phase with this. Okay, so you can please accept this even if it is not in phase. So this is I2 R02. And from the tip of this, I need to add J I2 X02. Since it is an inductor, the voltage will be leading the current by 90 degrees. So if this is current, voltage will be exactly leading by 90 degrees. So, but that I need to add from the tip of here. So you are going to get this. So let us assume, and you can assume that this angle is exactly 90 degrees. Okay, the angle between these two should be 90 degrees, and this is I2 X02. This is I2 X02. So the resultant of V2 I2 R02 X I2 R02 plus I2 X02 will give you the final voltage. So this is my E2. So this is my E2 phasor. Now what I will do is I will try to indicate with some points. This is O. Okay. So what are the notations I have used here? So this is O. This I have assumed as A. This I have assumed as B and C. So what I will do is I will take the same thing. This is O. Let me use a red color. Okay. And this I am assuming as A. This I am going to assume as B. And after that, I am forming a right angle triangle, right? So if I form, yes, this I can assume as C. Okay, so this I can able to assume as C. And what is the D point I have mentioned here? If you observe here, D point I have mentioned as the projection of I2 R02 horizontally, right? So the projection of I2 R02 horizontally. So if I try to project, sorry for this. Yes, right. So this point I can assume as the point D. This point I can assume as point D. Now, okay, while calculating the voltage regulation, so can I say OA length is equal to square root of OC length square plus AC length square. Now which one we have to neglect, OC or AC? I have to neglect AC because the horizontal projection of OA is OC, whereas the vertical projection of OA is AC. Okay, so we have to neglect vertical projection. So we are going to neglect this AC value, which will not much affect on the total value of voltage regulation. So from here I can say OA is approximately equal to OC. Now how to get the length of OC? Okay, how to get the value of OC? So from this I can say OC length will be equal to, okay, that means this length will be equal to this length, or else I can say this length plus this length minus this one. Are you following what I am saying? Are you following? So I can say that this particular length will be equal to, this length will be equal to this total length minus this length. Yes or no? Or else I can say this total length minus this length will give you the answer. Are you following? So this total length means this length plus this length minus DC length you have to do. Minus DC length we have to consider. Now what I will do is even let me consider this also, so that you can able to get. So what I am doing is I will write here so that you can understand. OC length will be equal to OD length minus DC length or CD length, whatever it may be. OD length minus CD length. And what is OD? Can I write OD is equal to OB plus BD minus CD, right? And assume this is X and this is Y, right? This is X and this is Y. And I can say CD length will be equal to XY length. CD length equal to XY length. I know the value of OB. What is OB, guys? Here, from here, V2. And what is BD length? So I need to get OC length finally. OC length is nothing but here, as if I am neglecting vertical projection AC, my OA length is same as OC length. OA is nothing but here whom? E2. Are you following? So that means E2 is equal to OC, which is equal to OB plus BD minus CD. OB plus BD minus total this length. Okay. So from this total length, if I subtract this length, we are going to get OC. Are you following? So don't get confused. Please relax. Okay. Please pause the video. Try to frame or draw the diagram on your own, phasor diagram, and try to compare with this previous lagging power factor phasor diagram. Indicate the same points and do the similar analysis. Then you will get the final answer. Okay. Are you following? Right. So now what is the value of BD length from this diagram? I can say the value of BD length from this one is, if this is phase angle is phi 2, obviously I2 R02 is in phase with I2. So this phase angle is also phi 2. Yes or no? This phase angle is also phi 2. So if I know this phase angle phi 2, I can say BD length. Okay. So here the length OB is equal to V2 and length BD will be equal to I2 R02 projection you have to do onto this. Okay. That means cos or sine. It is cos or sine. So if you try to see, if I form a right angle triangle, every time there is no need, right? So BDY, and this angle I am saying as phi 2, and this length is nothing but I2 R02. This length is nothing but I2 R02. Apply cos phi. So if you apply cos phi 2, adjacent length is BD divided by hypotenuse is I2 R02. From here I can get the value of BD. So what is the value of BD from here? I can say that BD will be equal to I2 R02 cos phi 2 or sin phi 2? Cos phi 2. Similarly, you can able to calculate the value of CD length or DC length, whatever it may be. CD length is exactly equal to XY length. Okay. So if you do the similar analysis, you will get the answer. So it is very easy. And if you do the simplification, finally XY value you are going to get I2 X02. Okay. So you are going to get sin phi 2 you will get. So if at all, if you are still get confused, this is phi 2, this is 90 degrees. So obviously this becomes 90 minus phi 2 you are going to get. If this is 90 minus phi 2, you can able to do the remaining analysis. Okay. We can able to determine the remaining analysis. Okay. Because this is 90 minus phi 2 means this is phi 2. Okay. If this is phi 2, this becomes 90 minus phi 2. This becomes finally, ultimately, I can use this one. You are going to get this length as 90 minus phi 2. If I know this length, we are done with the question. Okay, so sorry, this angle, not length. This angle I am saying 90 minus phi 2. So because yes, so here because let me even remove these things so that you will have a clarity. This is I2 R naught. Now I hope you got some clarity. This is phase angle is phi 2. If this phase angle is phi 2, this angle is how much? 90 degrees, right angle triangle. And in a total triangle, what is the total angle? 180 degrees. If this is phi 2 and this is 90, this becomes 90 minus phi 2. If this is 90 minus phi 2, again, this becomes phi 2 you will get. Okay, so this angle, phi 2. If this angle is phi 2, this angle obviously becomes, you are going to get 90 minus phi 2. If you get 90 minus phi 2, again you can try to form a right angle triangle with xy. This is x, this is y. Okay, and this is a, and this is I2 x naught 2, and this angle is 90 minus phi 2, what I am saying. Now again apply cos value. Okay, because I know I need to get the value of xy length. So if I apply cos 90 minus phi 2 from this second right angle triangle, adjacent length divided by hypotenuse. Okay, hypotenuse is what? I2 x naught 2. From here I will get the value of xy. Now can you tell me what is the value of xy we are going to get from here? Slightly move upward direction. Right. So what is the value of xy from this expression? I2 x naught 2 cos 90 minus phi 2. What is cos 90 minus phi 2, guys? Sin phi 2. That's it. So the final conclusion what we are getting is E2. This length E2 will be equal to, okay, OB length. What is OB length? V2. Plus next length is what? BD length. What is BD length? I2 R naught 2 cos phi 2. I2 R naught 2 cos phi 2. And next length, what is the next one? Minus CD. CD is nothing but xy. What is xy? I2 x naught 2 cos 90 minus phi 2 means sin phi 2. I2 x naught 2 sin phi 2. So from here I will get E2 equal to V2 plus I2 R naught 2 cos phi 2 minus I2 x naught 2 sin phi 2. Now what is voltage regulation? It is change in terminal voltage from no load to full load. That means is nothing but E2 minus V2. Now if you take V2 to the left hand side, what is the expression for voltage regulation you are going to get? I2 R naught 2 cos phi 2 minus or plus? Minus I2 x naught 2 sin phi 2. I2 x naught 2 sin phi 2 you are going to get. Okay. So this minus represents lagging power factor load or leading power factor. This is for leading power factor loads. So this is for leading power factor loads. So this is the basic formula for voltage regulation for a leading power factor. Now if you combine these two things, lagging and leading, so we can get the voltage regulation is equal to E2 minus V2, which should be equal to I2 R naught 2 cos phi 2. I can write plus or minus I2 x naught 2 sin phi 2. So this final formula is very, very important, which we have to remember for solving the questions. Okay. So the formula for voltage regulation is equal to, or the voltage drop across leakage impedance E2 minus V2 is equal to I2 R naught 2 cos phi 2 plus or minus I2 x naught 2 sin phi 2. Where here plus corresponding to what kind of loads? Plus corresponding to lagging power factor loads, and minus corresponding to what kind of loads? Minus corresponding to leading power factor loads. Okay, minus corresponding to leading power factor loads. I hope you understand this one. Right now, once if you get these things, okay, once if you get this, now I will try to calculate the per unit voltage regulation. Okay, per unit voltage regulation. Before that, if I am saying, okay, I2 R naught 2 cos phi 2, this V2 is nothing but full load voltage. Right? Full load voltage means the current flowing through the windings are also full load currents. Here whatever the currents which I have shown here are full load currents. So whatever this voltage regulation which we are getting is called full load voltage regulation. That means if I am saying this is a full load voltage regulation, then you are going to get the expression as the current becomes full load or rated current. How to get this full load or rated current on the secondary side? From the nameplate details. Volt ampere rating divided by secondary side voltage will give you the full load current or rated current. into R naught 2 cos phi 2 plus or minus I2 full load x naught 2 into sin phi 2. Okay, right? Now if I know the full load voltage regulation expression this, then can you able to tell me what is the voltage regulation at off of the full load? Okay, off of the full load means which value becomes off? Current becomes off. Okay, so if I am taking current becomes off means, okay, this becomes off, this becomes off. If you take 1 by 2 as common, can I write this one as 1 by 2 times full load voltage regulation? Now if I generalize this expression, can you tell me what is the voltage regulation at x fraction of full load? The voltage regulation at some x percentage of loading will be equal to x times full load voltage regulation. X times full load voltage regulation. So this is another important point. So the voltage regulation at x percentage of loading or x fraction of full load will be equal to x times full load voltage regulation. X times full load voltage regulation. Have you understand this point? So once if you understand this, now what I will do is I will try to write the expression for per unit parameters. Okay, so this is my actual voltage regulation. Now we will try to write this expression in per unit quantities. Let us try to see how to write the expression for in per unit system. Right, now we will try to calculate the per unit voltage regulation. So per unit voltage regulation means you have to divide this voltage regulation with the base voltage. Base voltage is nothing but E2. So from here I can able to get the expression as I2 R naught 2 divided by E2 into cos phi 2 plus or minus I2 x naught 2 divided by E2 into sin phi 2. Yes or no? So where plus is corresponding to lagging power factor loads and minus corresponding to leading power factor loads. Now once if you understand this, let us try to calculate full load per unit voltage regulation. So if I try to calculate the full load per unit voltage regulation, full load means the current should be rated or full load current. So I will get I2 full load into R naught 2 divided by E2 into cos phi 2 plus or minus I2 full load x naught 2 divided by E2 into sin phi 2. Now from here if you clearly observe here, okay, so this I2 full load R naught 2 divided by E2. So this is called the actual voltage, okay, and this is the base. Actual voltage drop or resistive drop divided by base voltage. This is actual leakage reactive drop divided by base voltage. So this is actual divided by base, actual divided by base. So that means you are going to get per unit values. So this I can technically call it as per unit resistive drop. Per unit resistive drop is equal to, I can represent this per unit resistive drop with R per unit. Okay, in some textbooks they will mention as ER also. Okay, in some of the textbooks they will mention as ER, which I can write as I2 full load. I will not use R per unit here as of now. Yeah, so this is per unit resistive drop, which is equal to, I can represent with ER, which is equal to I2 full load R naught 2 divided by E2. And similarly I2 full load x naught 2 by E2 I can call it as per unit leakage reactive drop. Per unit leakage reactive drop. And in some of the notations we are going to represent this with EX symbol, E subscript X, which represents per unit leakage reactive drop, which is equal to, we are going to get I2 full load x naught 2 divided by E2. I2 full load x naught 2 divided by E2. Now I can further write this expression as full load voltage regulation per unit value. Default voltage regulation we are going to express in per unit parameters only. Okay, now what I will do is I2 full load I will take to the denominator, this I2 full load also I will take to the denominator. So then what you are going to get, R naught 2 divided by E2 divided by I2 full load into cos phi 2 plus or minus x naught 2 divided by E2 divided by I2 full load into sin phi 2. Now already I told to you that in per unit system, per unit resistive drop is simply called as per unit resistance. per unit leakage reactive drop is simply called as per unit leakage reactance. Or else from here also I can able to get the same conclusion here. All of you please see here. R02 divided by, what is E2? E2 is rated voltage on the secondary side divided by, this is rated current on the secondary side. Rated voltage by rated current. What is you are going to get? Voltage by current will give you impedance, or rated impedance or base impedance. Okay. So this is my base impedance into cos phi 2 plus or minus x naught 2 divided by, again E2 by I2 I can call it as base impedance into sin phi 2. And we know that in per unit system, okay, base resistance, base reactance and base impedance will be same, which is equal to E2 rated divided by I2 rated. Okay, that means this is actual resistance, this is base resistance, this is actual leakage reactance, this is base leakage reactance. Because in per unit system, base resistance or base reactance or base impedance will be same as E2 by I2, right? So from here I can able to get R02 by Z base. This is actual resistance divided by base resistance, actual leakage reactance divided by base leakage reactance, which what you will get? What you will get? This is per unit resistance and this is per unit leakage reactance. Are you following? So R02 by Z base I can replace with R per unit. R per unit same as ER. Okay, because from this one only I am getting this expression. So ER, in some textbooks they will use the notation ER and EX. That is nothing but per unit resistive drop or per unit resistance, and EX they will represent with per unit leakage reactive drop or per unit leakage reactance. So that is the reason either you can use ER or EX, or I can use this one as R per unit and this I can represent with X per unit. Per unit resistive drop or per unit resistance, per unit leakage reactive drop or per unit leakage reactance. Okay. So now if I try to write this expression, the full load voltage regulation per unit quantity, full load voltage regulation per unit quantity will be equal to R per unit into cos phi 2 plus or minus X per unit into sin phi 2. X per unit into sin phi 2. So this is the expression for full load voltage regulation. Now if I know the full load voltage regulation per unit quantity, can I able to calculate the voltage regulation per unit quantity at half of the full load? At half of the full load, then what you are going to get, these resistance and reactance becomes 1 by 2, 1 by 2. So you are going to get 1 by 2 times full load per unit voltage regulation. Or if I generalize this one, the voltage regulation per unit quantity at X fraction or X percentage of loading or full loading will be equal to X times full load voltage regulation per unit quantity. Yes or no? So this is how we can able to get other generalized expressions. So this is the main formula you have to remember. So full load per unit voltage regulation will be equal to R per unit cos phi 2 plus or minus X per unit sin phi 2. Now if I try to multiply left hand side and right hand side with 100, then what you are going to get, full load voltage regulation per unit value into 100 will give you percentage. Okay, so you are going to get percentage voltage regulation full load value will be equal to R per unit into 100 becomes percentage resistance into cos phi 2 plus or minus X per unit into 100. Per unit reactance into 100 becomes percentage leakage reactance, percentage X into sin phi 2. So this is the percentage full load voltage regulation formula. So the percentage full load voltage regulation is percentage resistance into cos phi 2 plus or minus percentage leakage reactance into sin phi 2. So with this we are done with the expressions for voltage regulation. Okay, so what is the expression for voltage regulation? Per unit voltage regulation is R per unit into cos phi 2 plus or minus X per unit into sin phi 2, that is full load value. Okay, the voltage regulation per unit quantity at X fraction of full load is equal to X times full load voltage regulation per unit quantity, and percentage voltage regulation is percentage R cos phi 2 plus or minus percentage X sin phi 2. So once if you understand this, okay, once if you understand okay, so the formulas for voltage regulation, the next step is we need to understand what are the conditions for maximum voltage regulation and the condition for zero voltage regulation. Okay, because it is very important to understand maximum voltage regulation where we cannot able to operate the transformer. For reliable power supply, or in order to get a better performance of the power system or better performance of the transformer, always the voltage regulation of that particular transformer should be as minimum as possible. Okay, so what is the necessity of understanding maximum voltage regulation? The reason, okay, so let us now try to see the condition for maximum voltage regulation. Condition for maximum voltage regulation. Condition for maximum voltage regulation. So before going to see the condition for maximum voltage regulation and zero voltage regulation, let us focus on what is the necessity of this maximum voltage regulation. First we will try to understand. Already we have seen what is the necessity of studying voltage regulation, right? The same thing I am going to explain quickly now. Okay, so what is the necessity of studying maximum voltage regulation? So what is the basic formula for voltage regulation per unit quantity? It is the change in terminal voltage from no load to rated or full load divided by the rated voltage, right? Now if I want to say my voltage regulation is maximum, if I want to say the voltage regulation is maximum, the numerator should be maximum, okay, because E2 is anyway base quantity which we cannot change. So E2 minus V2 difference should be maximum. Okay, so difference of no load voltage to full load voltage should be maximum in order to get maximum voltage regulation, right? So now why we need to study the maximum voltage regulation? What we can able to understand from the maximum voltage regulation? Already I told to you with respect to the distribution transformer, the necessity of studying voltage regulation with respect to distribution transformer is, if at all, if you want to understand the performance or all the performance of all appliances will be decided based on the voltage profile what we are maintaining across the secondary terminals of the distribution transformer, right? So already we have seen that point, because for suppose if you have taken a distribution transformer, let us assume this is my primary winding of the distribution transformer and this is my secondary winding of the distribution transformer, and here you will have a switch, and here this is my load. This is my load. So let us assume here I am having some 3.3 kV and this will be stepped down to, let us assume, some 230 volts for our domestic appliances to connect to a domestic applications. Okay, and we know that, okay, we know that under no load condition the terminal voltage what we are getting is same as no load voltage. Okay, but during loaded condition, that means the moment if I am connecting or switch on some incandescent lamp, okay, so the moment if I am supplying some incandescent lamp, so you will have a tungsten filament and this is my lamp. Okay, so yes, so this is my lamp. Okay, and these terminals will be connected to the terminals of this particular distribution transformer. Okay, and here let us assume the voltage appeared here is whatever the voltage, this terminal voltage V2. Since it is a pure tungsten filament, means it is a resistor, so the power input will be equal to V square by R, where R is the resistance of this tungsten filament, right? So what actually will happen, as I said in the previous session, it will draw input energy, convert it into heat energy, and the heat energy will change the original behavior of this tungsten film into red hot condition. That red hot condition will be converted into white hot condition. The moment if the tungsten filament is changing as a white hot condition, it will emanate the light from this particular lamp. Okay, right? Now here what will happen is, under loaded condition, because of the voltage drop across this secondary leakage impedance, the voltage will decreases. Okay, from no load voltage is 230, and from this no load voltage of 232 it may drop to some other value, right? So for suppose if this voltage is dropped to 200 volts, then what will happen? Obviously, as the voltage is across the terminals is changing, my input power is decreases. As input power decreases, the heat energy produced is also decreases. So we cannot able to get the better performance of this incandescent lamp. Even we have explained with one more example. For suppose if you are taking induction motor, a ceiling fan. Okay, so if you are taking a ceiling fan, is nothing but my induction motor. Is nothing but induction motor. So it will draw input electrical energy. So this is my V2, the amount of voltage that is applied. Okay, so this induction motor is nothing but a fan. Induction motor is nothing but a fan. Now can you tell me what is the voltage that is going to be applied across this fan under no load condition? So that means under no load condition, that means if I am not switch on the supply to this induction motor, I know that the no load voltage is 230 volts, right? But the moment if I am connecting the fan under loaded condition, the moment if I am connecting a fan to the distribution transformer, then obviously because of this voltage drop across this leakage impedance, the voltage may be reduced to either 200 volts or 220 volts or whatever it may be, based on the impedance drop across this secondary leakage impedance drop of a distribution transformer. As voltage is decreasing, what will happen? As voltage is decreasing, then the V by F ratio of the transformer also decreases. Sorry, not induction motor. As V by F ratio decreases, the BM value decreases. As BM decreases, flux will decreases. As flux is decreasing, we know that the load torque is equal to Ka into phi Ia. Okay. Now, to maintain the fan means it is having some weight. That is nothing but the load, right? So, in order to maintain that load torque as constant, for suppose if I want to maintain this load torque as constant, as flux is decreasing because of the change in terminal voltage, okay, automatically the current drawn by this particular induction motor increases. So as current is increasing, then I need to understand priorly while designing this fan itself, priorly I need to understand how much amount of current is increasing because of this change in no load or terminal voltage. You need to understand the voltage profile across the secondary terminals, then only I can able to design the area of cross section of the conductor. Okay, so let me take a simple example. For suppose you are a fan manufacturer person, so you have constructed a company, okay, a very huge industry where you are going to manufacture some fans. Before going to manufacture a fan, what you will do is, for suppose if you are placed that particular infrastructure or that manufacturing unit in a particular state, before going to design the fan, first you will go to the corresponding electricity board of that particular state and you will try to understand what is the voltage profile they are maintaining. So you will ask directly what is the voltage profile that you are going to promise to us. So those electricity board persons, they will promise that I will supply the power at a voltage of 230 volts. So this electricity board of that particular state, they will mention that the moment if you go, because you are a construction manager and you can go to, because you will have a industry where you are going to manufacture the fans, so you will have a authority to ask what is the voltage profile that particular state is going to promise you. So that electricity board, they will promise that they will supply the power at a voltage of 230 volts with a tolerance band of plus or minus 10%. What is the meaning of this? They are going to supply the power with a minimum voltage minus 10%. That means 230 minus 10% means 23 to 230 plus 10%, 23. That means they are going to supply the power with a variation of voltage from, okay, so 207 volts to 253 volts. Okay, 207 volts to 253. So the electricity board of that particular state, they are mentioning that they will promise you that they will supply a power with a voltage of 230 volts with plus or minus 10% tolerance band. So what is the advantage of understanding this particular voltage profile of that particular state? If I know the voltage profile of this particular state, then only I can able to decide. Here, see here, what is the minimum voltage? 207. For suppose, okay, if I am designing a fan only at 230 volts, then what will happen? If I design a fan only at 230 volts without knowing the voltage profile of that particular state, then if I am designing a fan at 230 volts and the moment if I am connecting the loads, okay, that means fan, for suppose if I am manufacturing the fan with a voltage profile of 230, the moment if I switch on the fan, instead of getting 230 volts, okay, that electricity board of that particular state, okay, at a particular time, the voltage if you are getting 207, then what will happen? 230 to 207 means voltage is fallen drastically. As voltage is decreasing a large value, V by F ratio also decreases to a large value. As V by F ratio is decreasing to a large value, flux is decreases to a large value. As flux is decreasing, in order to maintain the load torque as constant, as flux is decreases to a large value, the current flowing through the winding of the fan also increases to a large value. Okay, so then obviously my fan, which is designed at a voltage of 230, cannot able to bear this much of amount of current, because current is increasing at a voltage of 207 volts. right? As current is increasing, because my current carrying capacity of the winding is purely depends upon the area of cross section of the conductor. Now I have designed a fan winding in such a way that the area of cross section of this fan winding is carrying a current at a voltage of 230. But because of these voltage profiles, if voltage across the fan terminals is 207, then what will happen? Current flowing through the winding is increasing. Current flowing through the winding is increasing. Are you following? So here the point you need to understand here is you must have to be very clear with the voltage profile what we are maintaining across the secondary terminals of the distribution transformer, because the performance of all these appliances is purely decided based on the voltage profile. Okay. Now, if you can able to understand what is the maximum voltage regulation, that means what is the difference between E2 minus V2. Okay. So if this is maximum means what is the maximum drop in this voltage? 207. Okay. So 207. Are you following what I am saying? So 230 minus 207, 23 volts is the drop. Okay. So if I can able to know this information of 207 and 253, then only I can able to properly design the corresponding appliances. Are you following what I am conveying? Anyway, appliances are already designed with a voltage fluctuations of some 10% or 15%. Okay. But the point is you have to priorly know about all these points in order to understand or design all the appliances for a distribution transformer. Anyway, come back to our discussion. What is the condition for maximum voltage regulation? Okay. So what is the necessity of going for understanding maximum voltage regulation for a distribution transformer? For distribution transformer, the performance of all the appliances will be purely depends upon the voltage profile what we are maintaining across the secondary terminals of distribution transformer. Now come back here. So before going to see the conditions for maximum voltage regulation and zero voltage regulation, first you need to understand about where I will get this maximum voltage regulation and where I will get zero voltage regulation. That means you need to understand whether maximum voltage regulation occurs for lagging power factor loads or leading power factor loads. Similarly, you need to understand zero voltage regulation will occur for lagging power factor loads or leading power factor loads. For that, there are different ways of explaining, okay, where you will get maximum voltage regulation, at what power factor, or for what kind of loads you will get maximum voltage regulation, for what kind of loads you will get zero voltage regulation. There are different ways of explanations are there. So let me take a particular thing. Right, all of you please focus here. Okay, so here first in order to understand where I will get maximum and where I will get zero voltage regulation, I will try to draw the phasor diagrams for different power factors or different loads so that you can able to get the idea. So this is my V2, yes or no? So first what I will do is I will take a pure inductive load. So if I am taking a pure inductive load, my current will be lagging the voltage exactly by 90 degrees. So this is my current I2. So I am saying this is my V2 and this is my current I2. Now from the tip of V2, I need to add I2R02 and JI2X02, right? So I will quickly add those things also. So I2R02 from the tip, let us assume this is I2R02, and from the tip of this one exactly 90 degrees. Okay. So if I try to draw I2X02, in a inductor voltage will be leading current. Okay. So from here if I try to draw, okay. So from here if I try to draw, so my voltage will be leading current by 90 means you are going to get here. So that you have to add here. Are you following? So here what is the angle between these two things? 90 degrees. So this is what? Pure inductive load. This is pure inductive load. Pure inductive load means, can I say is it a zero power factor lagging or zero power factor leading, guys? It is zero power factor lagging. It is zero power factor lagging. Are you following? So if I am considering a zero power factor lagging, I am getting this expression. There is no need of mentioning this. I hope you got the idea, right? So this is zero power factor lag, ZPF lag. Okay, right? And for this ZPF lag, I am trying to get the phasor diagram for the expression E2. So I know V2. From the tip of V2, I2R02 I have to add. I2R02 means it will be in phase with the current I2. So that I am going to add from the tip of V2. And for that, from this tip, I need to add one more phasor. What is that one more phasor I have to add? I2X02. I2X02 will be, is nothing but an inductor. For an inductor, voltage will be exactly leading current by 90 degrees. That means from here if I try to draw I2 X naught 2, it will be leading current by 90. So that means exactly it will be coming here. This I need to add from the tip of this I2 R naught 2. Okay. So what I am doing is I am adding from here. So if I am adding I2 X naught 2, let me take, this is my I2 X naught. Okay. So this is my I2 X naught 2. So this is what, let me write, if you are getting confused later I will delete these things. I2 X naught, right? So the resultant of V2 I2 R naught 2 I2 X naught 2 will give you the E2 for this particular zero power factor lagging. E2 is sum of V2 I2 R naught 2 I2 X naught 2. But what is the sum of I2 R naught 2 and I2 X naught 2? I can say that is nothing but I2 Z naught 2. This is nothing but my I2 Z naught 2. So this is I2 Z naught 2. For what load? This is for zero power factor lagging. So this I am using for zero power factor lagging. I have used black color. Let me use a red color for another load. Let us consider now unity power factor load. So for unity power factor, my current will be in phase with this voltage. Let us assume this is my current. Yes. So this is current I2. So obviously this is unity power factor. Now what I will do is for getting the exact answer, for making this analysis simple, that means at what load, a lagging load or leading load, will you get maximum voltage regulation or zero voltage regulation? I will assume that the magnitude of the current is constant. That means the load magnitude is constant, but load phase angle will changes. Okay, load phase angle will changes. What is the meaning of that? The meaning of that one is nothing but, what is the meaning of load phase angle will changes but load magnitude is constant? For suppose if I am taking a load is a pure resistive load. Okay, if I am saying it is a pure resistive load means unity power factor load. If I am saying this is 5 ohms, this is 5 ohms. Okay, so the magnitude of impedance is 5 ohms. And for suppose if I am applying a voltage V2 here, then obviously you are going to get the corresponding current I2 which is equal to V2 by 5 ohms. Yes or no? But what is this power factor? Unity power factor. Now I am going to consider a RL load. Okay, for suppose if I am considering a RL load in such a way that the resistance value is 3 ohms and reactance value is J4 ohms, then obviously it is okay, lagging power factor load. If I am applying the same voltage V2, can you tell me now the magnitude of the current in this resistive load and RL load will be remain same? Because here what is the magnitude of current I2? Magnitude of voltage V2 divided by 5. Similarly here also what you are going to get in the lagging load, so you are going to get V2 divided by square root of 3 square plus 4 square. You are going to get 5 only. Right? For suppose if I am taking a pure inductive load, so in order to maintain the load current as constant, the magnitude this should be J5. But is it what kind of load? It is zero power factor lagging. Zero power factor lagging. That means here the phase angle is how much? 0 degrees. Phase angle 0 means power factor cos phi. Cos 0 is 1. And lagging means it is having some phase angle. Here the phase angle between voltage and current is 90. So cos 90 is 0. So you are going to get zero power factor lagging. But if you try to see the magnitude of the current I2 equal to V2 divided by what is magnitude of J5? 5. So this is the meaning of this one. To understand okay, where you are going to get zero power factor and maximum power factor, maximum voltage regulation and zero voltage regulation, I am assuming that the magnitude of load current is constant, but load phase angle will changes in this fashion. Have you understand this point? So let me move this to the other side, slightly to this side. I hope it is visible to you. Yeah. Now what I will do is I am trying to maintain the magnitude of this current as constant. For that, let me project a circle and move this circle and increase this. Increase the size of this circle. Let me increase the size of this circle so that we are trying to get, yeah, please bear with me. Right, so this is my circle. So I think it is getting overlap. Yes. So let me first move this to the other side, so which is not going to overlap. So let me move to this side, or else. Yeah. So I think it won't get now overlap. So on this, I am going to shift it to here, and I am slightly increasing the size to maintain uniformity. Yes, please accept that this length and this length will be remain same. Yeah. So now if I am taking, okay, so this current is I2. Here this is zero power factor lagging. The red color is what it represents. This is unity power factor. Red color unity power factor. So now at this unity power factor, okay, because this current I2 is in phase with V2, that is the reason it is a unity power factor. Now from the tip of V2, I need to add I2 R02, which is in phase with this one. So obviously, let me use the red color. So from the tip, this is I2 R02, and from here I need to add, okay, so this is, I am saying I2 R02, and from here I need to add Ji2 X02. Yes or no? So Ji2 X02. So if I try to add Ji2 X02, this is exactly in this fashion. So this is my Ji2 X02. Now the resultant of these two will give you what? The resultant of these two will give you I2 Z02. Yes or no? So the resultant of these two will give you I2 Z02. This is for what power factor? Unity power factor. Red unity power factor. Let us finish with one more last load. Let us consider zero power factor lagging. Sorry, zero power factor leading. If you are considering zero power factor leading, means my current I2 vector will be here. Yes or no? So this is my I2, which is nothing but this is zero power factor leading. Because why I can say it is zero power factor leading? My current I2 will be leading this voltage exactly by 90. So cos 90 is 0. So you are going to get zero power factor leading. Now if I project here, what you are going to get? Current I2. This is I2. I2 R02 will be in phase with this one. So this is I2 R02. Okay. So this is I2 R02. And from here I need to draw Ji2 X02, which is exactly 90 degrees leading. So I am going to get Ji2 X02 in this fashion. This is my Ji2 X02. The resultant of these two will give you, this is I2 X02. The resultant of I2 R02 and Ji2 X02 will give you I2 Z02. This is my I2 what? I2 Z02. This is for whom? This is for ZPF leading. This is for ZPF leading, right? Now my question is, can I say the length of I2 Z02 for the black color, red color and green color or blue color will be remain same or different? Same. Why? Here I am assuming that the magnitude of I2 is remain same for all these different power factor loads. The magnitude of the load current I2 in zero power factor lagging, unity power factor lagging and zero power factor leading or any power factor I am going to assume as constant. As I2 is constant, once if I design the transformer, construction of the transformer is over, then R02 and X02 will be remain same as current I2 is constant, right? As R02 and X02 magnitudes are same for a given or constructed transformer and I2 is same, I can say I2 R02 and I2 X02 lengths will be also same for all the different kind of power factors. So the point is I2 Z02 will be remain same at different power factors if I am assuming current is constant. Have you understand till this point? Yes. Once if you understand, now I will try to remove all the unnecessary things. So this is not required for me. This is not required for me. This is not required for me. This is also not required for me. And similarly, this is not required for me. This is not required. So the only thing I required is I2 Z02, and I am saying the lengths of these I2 Z02 in all the cases will be same. Okay, let me reduce this. In all the cases will be same. So if I now form a triangle here, okay, so if I try to form a triangle, so obviously, let me move, let me take these two as references. Yes. And let me extend this now, so that the lengths. So now what I have to do, I need to increase the length of this red color. Sorry for that. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let me please accept this. Okay. So this is I2 Z02 is anywhere becomes constant. Okay. So by the way, this I2 Z02 corresponding to which power factor? This is corresponding to ZPF lag. Yes or no? And this red color corresponding to unity power factor. Red color corresponding to unity power factor. And this blue color corresponding to ZPF lead. ZPF lead. Right? Now for suppose if I am taking some other than this unity power factor and ZPF lag, for suppose if I am considering some, okay, or if I am considering anything between these two, for suppose if I am considering this particular current I2, then what will happen? From here, okay, you are going to get I2 R02, J I2 X02, right? So obviously it is in between unity power factor to zero power factor lagging. So this is zero power factor, this is unity power factor. So from this, okay, you will get I2 R02, and from here you are going to get J I2 X02. So the resultant I2 Z02 will somewhere you are going to get in this fashion. So this is what? This is okay, lagging or leading? Lagging power factor. This is also I2 Z02 for this particular lagging power factor load. Right. From unity power factor, if you clearly focus here, guys, from unity power factor, if I am moving in anti-clockwise direction, I am entering into leading region. From unity power factor, if I am moving in the clockwise direction, I am going to enter into lagging power factor region. Okay. From unity power factor, if I am moving in anti-clockwise leading region, clockwise lagging region. Right. Now, why I am giving this entire diagram? Why I am studying this or explaining this particular diagram? In order to understand where I will get maximum voltage regulation and where I will get zero voltage regulation, right? In order to get whom? Maximum voltage regulation and zero voltage regulation. Let us now focus on those things. Okay. So now, in order to understand that, voltage regulation is equal to E2 minus V2. Or if you want to get per unit, this will be divided by E2. Okay. So maximum voltage regulation means the difference of E2 minus V2 should be maximum. Okay. Or else zero voltage regulation. First make a comment on zero voltage regulation. When I will get zero voltage regulation, if I can say the magnitude of E2 is exactly equal to magnitude of V2, or E2 minus V2 is 0, that means E2 should be equal to V2. Whenever if E2 value is exactly equal to V2, I can get zero voltage regulation. Yes or no? I will get zero voltage regulation. Now my question is, when I will get E2 value is equal to V2, this is V2. Yes or no? This is V2. Right. Now where I will get E2? Where I will get, for suppose if you are taking ZPF lag. For this ZPF lag, V2, okay, plus I2 R02 plus J I2 X02. I2 R02 plus J I2 X02 is nothing but I2 Z02. That means V2 plus I2 Z02 will give you E2. Because I know that E2 is equal to V2 plus I2 R02 plus J I2 X02. And sum of I2 R02 plus J I2 X02 will give you I2 Z02. That means the vector addition of V2 plus I2 Z02 will give you E2. Or length of E2 is nothing but length of V2 plus length of I2 Z02. Yes or no? Right? That means if I try to see here, guys, so this addition of these two things will give you E2 for ZPF lag. Addition of these two will give you E2 for unity power factor. Addition of these two will give you, okay, E2 for ZPF lead. Right? So you are going to get E2 for different kind of power factors. Now, when I can say E2 value is equal to V2. Now, in order to get E2 is equal to V2, if you see the starting slides, okay, here, while getting the expression for E2, or the formulas, what I have done is, I have considered only horizontal projection of OA. That means this is OA, I am considering only OC and I am neglecting AC. That means which phasor we have neglected, vertical projection of the phasor we have neglected, we have considered horizontal projection of OA is same as E2 length. Right? So, are you following what I am saying? Horizontal projection of OA is nothing but E2 length. Horizontal projection of OA is nothing but E2 length. Are you following what I am saying? So, OA is same as OC. What is OA here? OA is E2. OC is horizontal projection of OA. Okay? horizontal projection of OA is equal to OC, and I am neglecting the vertical projection. Now come back to this discussion. Now if you try to see this particular thing, then I will get zero voltage regulation if horizontal projection of E2 phasor is exactly equal to V2. If horizontal projection of E2 phasor is exactly equal to V2, then I will get zero voltage regulation. All of you please focus guys here. Okay, all of you please focus. Right. Now where I need to get zero voltage regulation, let us have a look into that. Okay. First what I will do is, I will try to draw one vertical line. One vertical line. What happened? From unity power factor. This is one vertical line from unity power factor. I hope it is visible to you. Okay, so this is not that much necessary. Yeah. Now I am trying to project the horizontal projection of E2 phasors. Okay, for zero power factor lagging, if I am starting from here, V2 plus this length will give you the E2 for zero power factor lagging. Now if I project horizontally, this is my length. Is this length is same as V2? No, it is more than V2. For suppose if I am taking this particular thing, V2 plus for this lagging power factor, this is my E2. If I project horizontally, this is my value you are going to get. For suppose if I consider unity power factor, okay, for unity power factor, this is V2 plus I2 Z02 will give you E2. But you need to consider only horizontal projection. If I try to consider horizontal projection, this is my E2. Can I say E2 phasor length is same as V2 for unity power factor? No. Now for suppose exactly at this point, let us assume there is some particular load is there. For that load power factor, if I try to project this phasor horizontally, exactly it is meeting V2. Now if you observe here, can I see this E2 length is exactly same as V2? So for this particular phasor, I am going to get what? I am going to get what? Here E2 phasor, horizontal projection of this E2, horizontal projection of this E2 is exactly same as what? V2. As horizontal projection of E2 is exactly same as V2, what kind of voltage regulation I am going to get? I am going to get zero voltage regulation. So that means for suppose at this particular thing, okay, this is, let us consider E2. This is E2, right? Now if I try to project horizontally, if I try to project this horizontally, exactly it is going to meet V2. So the horizontal projection of this E2 is exactly same as V2. Now can I say at this point I am going to get zero voltage regulation? Yes or no? At this point I am going to get what? Zero voltage regulation. Why I am going to get zero voltage regulation exactly at this point? Because if I project this horizontal phasor E2 horizontally, it is exactly matching with V2. So I am going to get E2 is equal to V2. So you will get zero voltage regulation. Now what is the conclusion I am going to get from this discussion? The zero voltage regulation occurs in leading power factor region or lagging power factor region. If you observe here, from unity power factor, if I move clockwise, anti-clockwise direction, I am entering into leading. So this is my unity power factor. Now if I try to move from here in this region, I am going to get leading, whereas in this region I am going to get lagging. Now here if you observe, this is unity power factor, and where I am getting zero power factor leading, this is my zero power factor leading, right? Now zero voltage regulation is occurring for leading power factor region or lagging power factor region. First thing, leading power factor, because if I am moving in anti-clockwise from unity power factor, I am entering into leading. This is first point. Now, is this particular point is nearer to unity power factor or nearer to zero power factor? I can say this particular point is nearer to unity power factor. That means what is the conclusion I can say? The zero voltage regulation for a transformer is obtained for leading power factor loads which are nearer to unity. Are you following what I am saying? So what is the conclusion or observation we are getting? This conclusion is very, very important, guys. You must have to remember. So the final point or conclusion what I am saying. So the final point is zero voltage regulation for a given transformer is obtained. Zero voltage regulation for a given transformer is obtained for leading power factor loads which are operated nearer to unity power factor, which are operated nearer to, which are nearer to or operated nearer to unity power factor, which are operated nearer to unity power factor. I hope you understand this point, right? So the zero voltage regulation in a transformer is obtained for leading power factor loads which are nearer to unity power factor, which are nearer to unity power factor. Practically, the power factor where you are going to get zero voltage regulation is 0.9 to 0.95. Okay, around 0.9 to 0.95 power factor leading, you are going to get what? You are going to get zero voltage regulation. So the zero voltage regulation in a transformer will obtain for leading power factor loads which are nearer to unity power factor, and practically these values are around 0.9 to 0.95 power factor leading, you will get zero voltage regulation in a transformer. Okay, are you following? That means, is it a lightly capacitive loads or highly capacitive loads? Can I see, is it a lightly capacitive loads or highly capacitive? The moment if I am using the term leading power factor, it is a RC circuit. Very similar to RC circuit. In RC circuit, okay, if I want to get a power factor nearer to unity, resistance value should be dominated compared to capacitance value. So that means it should be a lightly capacitive loads. For a highly capacitive, for suppose if I am assuming a pure capacitive load, for pure capacitive load, what is the power factor you will get? For a pure capacitive, my current will be leading voltage by 90. And if I apply power factor cos 90, 0. So for pure capacitive loads, you are going to get zero power factor leading. But do I need to get zero power factor leading or nearer to unity power factor leading? Nearer to unity power factor. That means I need to choose a lightly capacitive loads or highly capacitive loads. I need to choose lightly capacitive loads which are more resistive in nature. Okay. So for those kind of loads, I can get zero voltage regulation. So that means I can see in terms of loading, I can say it is lightly capacitive loads. Lightly capacitive loads. This is the condition for what? Zero voltage regulation. Now we will try to understand the last point, the condition for maximum voltage regulation. Okay, so I think these things, every time these are disturbing to me, right? I hope you won't get confused with these this particular thing. This 5 is missing somewhere. Yeah. Okay, let me delete this. Yeah. Yes, so yeah, let me come back here. So we need to next target on maximum voltage regulation, right? So let me write over here. So I hope it is not clumsy to you, please bear with me. So I need to get maximum voltage regulation. Maximum voltage regulation. When I will get maximum voltage regulation? If I want to get maximum voltage regulation, if this value should be maximum, E2 minus V2 difference should be maximum. So I need to get the difference of E2 minus V2 should be maximum. If I can able to get the difference of E2 minus V2 maximum, then I will get maximum voltage regulation. It is very simple. Let us focus on this. Let me use the same color here as well as the same color over here. Now, okay, so for suppose, if the projection of E2, horizontal projection of E2 minus V2 difference is maximum, then I will get maximum voltage regulation. Yes or no? For suppose I have a load, okay, for suppose if I am taking this unity power factor. If I take unity power factor, the sum of V2 plus I2 R02 will give you the phasor over here. Now if I project this horizontally, I am going to get over here. Now can I say the difference of this E2 horizontal projection and V2 is less or more? Less. For suppose if I am taking a load over here and if I project horizontally, I am going to get here. So the difference of E2 minus V2 is small. If I further extend, E2 minus V2 somewhat increasing. The difference of E2 minus V2 increasing. Exactly here, can I say difference of E2 minus V2 is more? Yes or no? The difference of E2 minus V2 is more here. Whereas if you enter into leading regions, for suppose for this particular load, if I project horizontally, E2 minus V2 is less. If I further project horizontally, E2 minus V2 is less. Exactly if you are taking even 0 power factor leading also, E2 minus V2 difference is not that maximum. But for suppose if I can able to choose this particular load where the horizontal projection of E2 and V2 lies exactly at this point, I am going to get maximum voltage regulation here. I am going to get maximum voltage regulation here, right? So this maximum voltage regulation is occurring in which region? Now if you see, this is unity power factor, and am I moving towards this lagging region or leading? Lagging power factor. Now again one more point. So the first observation is maximum voltage regulation is occurring in which region? Lagging power factor loads. The two, they are nearer to unity power factor or nearer to zero power factor? They are nearer to zero power factor. So the other conclusion what we are getting is maximum voltage regulation is obtained for lagging power factor loads, which are nearer to zero, power factor lagging, That means, can I say the maximum voltage regulation occurs for, so what is the conclusion? Maximum voltage regulation is obtained for lagging power factor loads which are operated nearer to zero power factor lagging. That means they are not exactly equal to zero power factor lagging, it should be nearer to zero power factor lagging. So that means practically if I am considering this maximum voltage regulation practically will be obtained around 0.22 or 0.1 to 0.2 power factor lagging, you will get maximum voltage regulation. Okay, it should be a lagging loads or leading loads? Lagging loads. And now my question is, lagging load means RL load. Now in that RL load, which should be dominated? Resistance or inductance? Inductor. Why? Because if you are considering a pure inductor, for pure inductor current will be exactly lagging voltage by 90. If it is exactly lagging by voltage by 90, what is the power factor? You will get zero power factor lagging. But I need to get a power factor which is nearer to 0, not exactly equal to 0. Nearer to 0 means it may be a 0.1 or 0.2. That means it should be a highly inductive or lightly inductive. It should be highly inductive loads. So for highly inductive loads, we are going to get maximum voltage regulation. Okay, for highly inductive loads, we are going to get maximum voltage regulation. So the two conclusions what we are getting from this discussion is, I can say that the two conclusions what we are getting from this discussion is, zero voltage regulation in a transformer is obtained for leading power factor loads which are operated nearer to unity power factor. Approximately 0.9 to 0.95 power factor leading, you are going to get zero voltage regulation. Whereas maximum voltage regulation is obtained for lagging power factor loads which are operated nearer to zero, power factor loads. That means they are highly inductive loads. So if you can able to understand now that zero voltage regulation is obtained for leading, maximum voltage regulation obtained for lagging. So while doing the mathematical simplifications of maximum voltage regulation and zero voltage regulation, in these formulas, for maximum voltage regulation, will I use plus or minus symbol? Plus corresponding to lagging and maximum is also obtained for lagging. So I will use plus symbol while determining the maximum voltage regulation expression. While determining the condition for zero voltage regulation, will I have to use plus or minus symbol here? I have to use minus symbol because zero voltage regulation occurs for leading power factor loads. So we got this particular information as of now. Once if you get this information, with this idea, I can able to derive now the condition for maximum as well as condition for zero voltage regulation. And one more important point. Now if you see this particular diagram, phasor diagram, I can say that from unity power factor, if you move towards clockwise, I am entering into lagging power factor region. In lagging power factor region, if you see anywhere in the lagging power factor, nearer to unity to nearer to 0, anywhere, if I try to see here the phasor, horizontal projection of the phasors anywhere in the lagging region is more than V2 or less than E2, more than V2. That means E2 value is more than V2 means will I get positive voltage regulation or negative voltage regulation? I will get positive voltage regulation. Okay, from unity power factor to zero power factor, if I try to see the horizontal projection of E2, it is always more than V2. So I will get positive voltage regulation. That means what is the other observation from this diagram you are going to get? I can say that for lagging power factor loads, always we are going to get positive voltage regulation. For lagging power factor loads, you will get always positive voltage regulation. Out of that, maximum voltage regulation will be obtained exactly if you operated nearer to zero power factor lagging. This is first point. Now, if you exactly see the unity power factor, at unity power factor, now can you tell me, will I get a positive voltage regulation or negative voltage regulation? When I will get positive voltage regulation, if I want to get this is positive, E2 should be greater than V2. If it is, want to get zero voltage regulation, E2 should be exactly equal to V2. If I want to get negative voltage regulation, E2 will be less than V2. That's it, right? Exactly at unity power factor, will I get positive voltage or negative voltage regulation? If you see here, this is unity power factor. This is E2. Projection of E2 horizontally, this one. Can I see E2 phasor is more than V2 phasor or less than V2 phasor? More than V2 phasor. This is V2, this is E2. So, obviously E2 is more than V2. So, will I get positive voltage regulation or negative voltage? Positive voltage. Now, where I am getting zero voltage regulation? For leading power factor loads which are nearer to 0.9 to 0.95, the projection of E2 will be this. That means, for suppose, in between zero power factor, zero voltage regulation point to unity power factor, if I try to see this one, for suppose this is a leading region or lagging region where I am placing here, this is a leading region because from unity power factor towards the anti-clockwise leading. Now can I say if I project horizontally, can I say this phasor is more than V2 or less than V2, more than V2? That means here also will I get positive voltage regulation or negative? Positive. That means from unity power factor to till this point, from unity power factor to till this point, if I try to see in between this region is a leading region or lagging region? It is a leading region. In this leading region, will I get a positive voltage regulation or negative voltage regulation? Positive voltage regulation. Exactly at this point, 0. For suppose if I move here, if I try to project here, can I see E2 length is less than V2 or greater than V2? Less than V2. So will I get a positive or negative voltage regulation? Negative. Here also negative. Here also negative. Here also even zero power factor, I am going to get negative voltage regulation. That means the other important point you have to understand here is for leading power factor loads, I may get positive voltage regulation, I may get zero voltage regulation, even I may get negative voltage regulation also, right? There are three kind of voltage regulations you will find for leading power factor loads. So for positive voltage regulation in between this point, and that means above 0.95 to up to unity power factor, this region I will get positive voltage regulation. Whereas exactly at this point I will get zero voltage regulation. Below 0.9 I will get negative voltage regulation. Are you following what I am saying? Right? For leading power factor loads, you will get all three kind of voltage regulations, positive, negative as well as zero voltage regulation. And this zero voltage regulation is occurred for leading power factor loads which are nearer to unity power factor. Whereas if you consider lagging power factor loads, for lagging power factor loads, always voltage regulation is positive, and in those lagging power factor loads, you will have a chance of getting maximum voltage regulation if you operate the transformer for a power factor of the loads which are nearer to zero power factor. So this is the basic idea about where you are going to get maximum voltage regulation and where you are going to get zero voltage regulation. So once if you understand this, now this is the time to derive the conditions for maximum as well as zero voltage regulations. Okay, so we'll discuss in the next session. Thank you.